All right, welcome to episode number two of the Nothing But Knives podcast. We actually decided to come back and do it again. We're a little shocked by how many people showed up for the first one, so now we can't procrastinate and put it off. We got to keep this up. Today we're talking about, Instagram slowly killing the knife industry, which is something that's been discussed at great length. We're going to try to take a more proactive approach and offer some alternatives and maybe what the knife industry should do. Today we're here with Sam from NC EDC. We'll be doing a lot of stuff with him. We've already worked with him a whole bunch. Great dude, and he is plugged into a lot of parts of the knife world that we're not as plugged into. So he's kind of a great combination with us, with Nothing But Knives. How's it going, Sam?
Thanks for having me. Good. Glad to be here. This is. I look forward to this. It's going to be fun. I know we've already done it once.
Have you been throttled by Instagram? Have you got any of the? Have you looked to see?
To be throttled by Instagram, you must partake in Instagram. And I do not post hardly ever. I am collaborating with some of the companies I work with occasionally, and I put stuff on my story. But I don't, I've got enough stuff that I have to
You're busy
post
dude.
on and stuff.
You don't have time for all these social medias.
I would like to. I think I could make a really cool Instagram, but that would have to be like the only thing I focused on or something,
We've really pulled back. We were never super active on there. It was just not like, I don't know. I always kind of thought this was coming, and it's just not my favorite place for knife content. Right. But we've pulled way back, and a lot of people have, because what's the point? No one but followers can see it, and then not very many of your followers. So it just is kind of, if for knife content creators, it's really been a frustrating experience lately, and it's been really frustrating for knife makers, for the custom knife makers, the dudes, some of them working out of the garage who have made a living for years on Instagram now, some of them over 10 years, and that has been their sole way that they do any kind of marketing. They're really getting hammered, and that's kind of sad to see, and there's not a great alternative. I think X is the best alternative. But it's growing really slow. The knife community is growing there, but it's happening slow. So you have to be willing to preach to an empty choir. But if that's where your money's coming from, that's tough. It's tough to just knife makers, custom knife makers, and I've talked to a few who've been hit, and they're going to have to be a lot more proactive with marketing. The newer ones, especially, they're just going to have to be on a lot of different platforms and getting the word out there in as many different ways as possible, especially YouTube while we still can.
There's a lot of people on YouTube. ZNA Productions come to mind. Now, he doesn't do only knife making, but some of my favorite videos to watch are him doing his knife making. YouTube and, like you said, X. Cool thing about that is, you have to preach to an empty choir, but the cool thing is, if you're the first church in town, then a lot of people are going to come to your church once. Yeah, so that's the cool thing about X is anytime you have to build from the ground up, it's tough. But look at the Nothing Fancies and the insert anyone you want here that started out on YouTube as some of the first guys that were doing knife reviews or whatever. And you see where it took them. So, it's tough, I know. And like you said, if you're making your living on it, that's got to be devastating.
And those are the guys that have been hit. I've talked to marketing directors from some of the bigger knife companies who are, it has caused problems, but they've got resources and they've got time, and these custom knife makers do not. And so they just have to be a lot more proactive with marketing, and they haven't had to. You've been able to make a living off Instagram in the knife industry for a long time, and those days are over. And I think that there's a lot of platforms out there, and everyone's arguing about which one to go to. I really don't see any other option out there but X right now to not be throttled. There's some newer ones like Kara, however you say it, but we don't know that they're not going to be. We don't know where they're going to be at once they get big. And X has been the only one that's been pretty hands off with censorship. So I think that's it. We've been on there since 2016, and we weren't posting regularly at all until about 6 months ago. Not even that, 4 months ago, I just started posting every day, and it took about a month, and then we started growing. It's still not a big following, but another great thing about X is that you can embed a link into a post and you don't have to just put it in your bio. So someone click on the link and boom, show up at your website. If that's the goal, if that's what you're trying to do.
It does seem to be that the less steps that a consumer has to take, the more likely they are to take them right. That makes a big difference. It's just like with the shorts. Whenever they took links away from shorts, that was pretty ridiculous. Like that's a big deal.
That was painful for, for knife influencers. That was that hurt. And I don't want to sound callous towards the custom knife makers. We were just in a situation in February where we lost 70% of our traffic from Google, which ended up being close to a 70% loss in income. And it wasn't because of anything we did. It's because we had a negative SEO attack, some nerd shit. Anyway, Google didn't figure it out until this last update. And then they gave us all our traffic back. And we had to, so for, 8 months, we had to figure it out. We were finding traffic from other sources, and fortunately we have a pretty big following of people that just come to the site regularly. But hundreds of thousands of businesses lost their business, went out of business during this bloodletting from the Google update in last September and April. And I've learned a lot watching people transition in the finding places like Pinterest and YouTube and things like that, which we've obviously been more active on YouTube as well. But I think you've got to start planning ahead of time. And what we really need right now is for the knife consumers who are staying on Instagram, because why leave? It'd be really great.
Doesn't cost them anything.
Right. If they would set up an X account and check in every once in a while and follow your favorite knife people on there, it would really help move things along.
Apologies for the camera shaking, by the way. My dog got under my table and was hitting the camera, so apologies for that. But
well, if he'd jump up on the table, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, we can get him in the shot. Maybe he has something to say about all this, but he seems to have more sense than a lot of these Instagram executives anyways. But he's like
not to get off topic it too much.
Oh, you're good. Funny enough, he's a mutt, I think. But we were here at the house. We were hanging out with some friends. We got back. It was like close to midnight. And my wife gets out of the car and I hear, "Hey!" And a dog just walked up to my wife at our house. And so there we go. Now we have another dog.
That's the universal greeting a new dog tone, I think.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah. And how long ago was that?
2-3 months ago, maybe. His name is Buddy. I know, very creative, right? But we call him Buddy. He's a pretty good dog. He just still likes to poop in the house, and he must learn that is not okay.
Yeah. Or unless you can toilet train him.
We'll get him to crap in the toilet.
There. Yeah. You're having fun.
But this whole, by the way, you guys didn't tell me I was supposed to bring something to drink. I could have brought a coffee or something. I have a Celsius downstairs. I could sleep none at all tonight. But
we just thought it'd be funny if we got drunk in front of you.
Right.
the preacher and the two drunks. That should be the name of this. That would be great.
Should title the podcast that. Maybe we will.
This whole Instagram thing is like shit. It's best to pivot, and that stinks so much
because ahead of time. Before
but that's the thing. Have foresight. So that's
YouTube
the best advice you can give someone.
Like, let's take NC EDC. YouTube tomorrow is like throttling knife content. The writing's on the wall. It's going away. They've already started with they're killing sponsorship on gun videos. That's gone. They're making gun guys take down their videos. So it's very possible that we're next. So what do you do?
Yeah. And it's so easy nowadays. I say so easy, Maybe it takes an extra hour. But how easy is it to just diversify? Okay, well, I've put this picture up on Instagram. Let's throw it over on X. Copy and paste the description. Of course, you might have to do a little tweaking for different algorithms of different social media sites. But, okay, same thing with Pinterest. Same thing with YouTube, Shorts, and TikTok, and Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
Ray. I actually did an interview with Ray from Everyday City Carry, a big Everyday City Carry. Big YouTube channel. And that interview, usually those interviews are about like people's life story. We ended up talking about content creation quite a lot. And he said he posts on those 4 that I said there, I think. Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and no, he doesn't post on X. So there's 3 at least.
Okay.
And I think there's something crazy about Pinterest about affiliate links there. It can link Pinterest directly to a product or something.
It can.
Unsung hero.
We do really well on Pinterest. Yeah, we
Funny
get a
enough,
lot of
right.
traffic from there.
They used to be where you'd go like how to do fall decorations. You go to Pinterest and figure that out. But
Right, it still kind of feels like your mom's social media a little bit.
it's like
But it
Google
it would
Plus.
be a really it would be a really good
Man,
place
I like
for
Google Plus.
custom makers to go because it's so image centric.
That's true.
This doesn't have to make it onto the podcast.
It
but
takes
I
a
went on
long time on Pinterest to get any traffic, or it's another one of those things where you're preaching to an empty room for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just keep doing it, you'll and the knife world's not really big there, and that's not a social media where you're interacting. Like we've had some really good interactions on X with the knife industry, and there's some really active people there. There's a guy there who's like an AI dude from Microsoft actually, and he's also a custom knife maker.
Really?
Michael Gannotti from St. Michael's Forge, and he regularly posts like any new knife guys that show up on X. Like he'll track you down and like he'll post you so that everyone sees it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I always go to and we'll share his thing down in the. We'll have a bunch of links in this video. So he's there's a few guys like him who are really doing a lot to grow the X community, and then X itself has already said they're building out. They're building out a video feature, kind of similar to YouTube, where you have a gallery and photo features. More. So they're planning to do more. Without the censorship, without the AI censorship. So
that's very big.
Yeah, I think so, because it just gets worse on Instagram. And I saw, for a while, I would see like influencers giving advice on don't use this hashtag and don't say this word in a comment, and you'll be left alone. And maybe a few of them were big enough or had a big enough following that they actually talked to a rep from Meta. So this is what the rep told me: don't do this, do that. And I just thought, reps just tell you what you want to hear. Do you think strippers like you too? Type of a deal. Like I think as an industry, we just need to give a big middle finger to Meta and move on. Like it's not getting better; it's getting worse, and it's time to go.
Yeah.
I don't see a better option than X. If you're looking for one platform, obviously, like you were saying, you really need to be on multiple, as we learned the hard way with Google.
Yeah.
You really need to be posting everywhere if you're an influencer. But consumers, if the consumers aren't going there, it doesn't matter. Hopefully the consumers will start going there. And I think as a result of the culture war that we have all been brought into, whether we like it or not, more and more consumers are going to, knife consumers and fans are going to end up on X, just because that just is the way things are going.
Yeah. What I was saying was so big. It's like that fellow you was talking about that kind of promotes the other creators.
Yeah,
How many times?
Gannotti.
How many times do you hear the stories from the big guys on YouTube saying, "Yeah, well, I got big because this one guy who was big at the time shouted me out," and that's how communities work. It's like it doesn't really work nowadays. Funny enough, on YouTube, like I've been in a few videos of channels with, I know I've been in at least 2 or 3 videos of channels with over 300,000 subscribers. And I might get 4, 5, 10, maybe if it's good, 20 subs from it. It's not like it used to be. It's pretty crazy. And these were 250,000 views videos that I was in. And I didn't see that big of a uptick from. I'm very thankful for being in the video, all that different stuff.
Part of that problem is that Apple TV is because old men like myself, that's how we watch YouTube. Is like we stream it on the television, and you can't.
I'm with you on that.
Like a video, you can't leave a comment. If there's something I want to comment on or share or whatever, I have to go get on my phone or my laptop. Which So
to be
old
fair,
people
they have
like
changed
myself. They've got, Apple is really restrictive about
Apple,
what they'll it's Apple specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, because I believe on the Xbox, if you're on the Xbox or PlayStation, you can interact.
Yeah, I have a Roku stick, and that's what we use. And you can, I don't know that you can comment, but you can see comments, and you can like, and you can subscribe.
On
and
Apple,
all that.
you can't. On the Apple TV, you can't do any of that.
Of course you can't. 10 years, they'll roll it out and act like it was their idea.
Right. And that's a big problem, and that's part of the problem, because I'll be watching something and I want to follow somebody. Oh, I can't do anything on YouTube but watch. Like they treat it like it's a TV channel.
It's probably a situation where you need to get into the right age group, because I don't watch anything through the TV.
He's younger.
All I might cast to a TV, but mostly I'm watching on my computer like a normal millennial. So,
Are we three different generations?
I think so. Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh, no.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess I'm Z. 2002.
Are you really?
I'm X.
Oof.
X. Oh, man.
Okay.
Well, we've got a wide swath of knowledge and stupidity in here, don't we?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of one of those things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, the question of YouTube, I would like to see more of the knife YouTube guys talk about this a little more and plan ahead. When the big channel, what was the gun channel that got hit so hard, Hickok 45, and they had to remove a lot of... So when that happened, and I've watched their channel like everyone else, but I went and looked, I looked at the links, and I didn't find a website. I didn't find a newsletter. Like, no way outside of YouTube or these social media platforms that they're dependent on could I follow them or be a fan, and that's a problem.
Very old school. Hickok 45.
That is
it's
not
like,
okay. You've got to own your own space. You've got to own it. And they're and they're not even on X. They barely post on X. And I love these dudes. Like, I'm not trying to bag on them. I really like these guys, but you cannot trust Silicon Valley with your future or your income, because they will screw you every time. What is going on?
It's Buddy.
I'm
is
so
that the
sorry.
dog?
Yeah,
the dog? Dude, you got to show the dog now. You have to show the dog.
This is so unprofessional. This is the worst interview that I have ever done.
You got to pick the dog up and show him.
I might pick him up and throw him out of the window.
Well, that would
I got to
also
see.
be good content.
I got to see this dog.
Come here, buddy.
Oh, hey.
Come here, buddy. Well, sorry about that. I know that probably didn't make it, but
dude, that was awesome.
This feels like watching one of those found footage movies, like the Blair Witch Project from back in
next
the day.
there's going to be someone coming and stab me multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. By the way, since this will probably be cut out anyways, that thing you said about Google Plus earlier, it reminded me. I was on Google Plus a long time ago, and then years later, I went back on there, and it was nothing but porn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's what happens when
centric. Yeah.
So like I went on there, and it was like nothing but like links to porn. I was like,
oh, jeez.
Anyways, back to the...
And they've completely taken it down now, right? It's gone.
I think Google Plus is gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what were we talking about again? I'm sorry, guys.
I don't know, but anyone that's still watching this, if you've got an idea of what you think should happen as a result of the what looks like the growing censorship, leave a comment below. Let us know. Let us know what you think.
Seems like best thing right now is diversify, right? Because you never know what's going to stay up and what's going to go down. Just like we were talking about Hickok 45. That's what we were on. They are very old school. Now, his son, I think, did a pretty good job of running things. But at the end of the day, if all you do is gun stuff on one channel, on one platform, and it's amazing how much trouble that people get in on YouTube with guns, and they're still not diversified further than they were. Because, for years, I remember back in, what was it, like maybe 2016, 19? I could be wrong. But there for a good span, it was like, my channel might be completely deleted. This might be over. Yeah. For years, that was the case. And then all of a sudden...
CEOs, the new CEO was a little more hands-off with censorship, and that was, I want to say 2021, or I think 2021 that they switched CEOs.
Yes, something like that, yeah. Maybe 2020.
And I forget the old CEO's name. Actually, she just died.
Susan Wojcicki.
Yeah, she was really hardcore censorship,
Mm-hmm.
But it was her garage that Google started in, so yeah, she was about as well connected as you could be. But when they replaced her, it got a lot better. That was
it did seem to.
But it could change. We could change at the drop of the hat, and all this content goes away. And I just think we need to be ready for that. And the knife content creators really need to own their own space, whether it's their own website. They need to have their own newsletter. And then just be ready to transition to other platforms. Rumble, Rumble doesn't have a lot of knife content right now, but I'm guessing that's where we're all going to end up from a video standpoint. Because my concern with Rumble initially was that they didn't own their own servers. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem, because then you're hosting with Amazon or Google, and if they don't like your content, they can just quit letting you host on their servers. But Rumble has recently moved to their own servers, and that's pretty huge for the knife and the gun industry because that makes things a lot safer on that platform. So actually, this will probably be the first video we post there. We're going to start posting our videos there just to, just because I think eventually as YouTube starts censoring more, which I believe they will because the knife crime in Europe is only going to get worse. It's getting pretty bad in the UK. Like if you look at hashtag knife on X, it's almost all UK knife crime,
Oh, nice.
And
I feel
X
like a good stabbing.
Right. X doesn't care, but it's going, the people in Europe, the Karens in Europe are going to start complaining more about knife content on Instagram and on YouTube, I think, and it's going to go away.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
Yeah, because we're on a worldwide platform. And so we're
crazy.
dealing with people that complain in other countries. And on X, Elon has made it pretty obvious that he doesn't care about European Karens. He made that really clear the last couple of weeks. So,
to be honest, that's one of the best things I've ever heard.
Right.
I don't really care about Europe. Like, whatever they have to say, not that big of a deal. I agree. Again, this is going to sound, but ever since 1776, oh my goodness, I just screwed that up so bad. Ever since 1776, we haven't really cared what anyone in Europe said, So
That was kind of the point of it.
yeah,
I think.
well, and then 1945 especially.
We cared a lot about what the French thought back then.
Yeah, during the Revolutionary
yeah, they
War,
did help us out, didn't they? Quite a bit.
But let's talk about some knife stuff now.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be fun to talk about knives that kind of flew under the radar, like great knives that we feel should have got more attention. And just for whatever reason, a lot of times a knife will get released at the same time as something big from Kearshaw or something big from Benchmade, and there's a timing thing, and then no one pays attention to it. So we thought that'd be fun to talk about.
Yeah, I feel bad. We didn't really give you a heads up.
No, Ben did.
was
So we're
I
good.
did. I texted
Oh, you did?
him.
Okay, good. Oh, so you do you have a knife ready to go?
I've got two that I would mention.
Okay, cool. We can,
I see the one in Ben's hand, and I own one of those, and I do not have it
you
in the
do
room
have
with me right now.
The Ocaso
Yeah.
Duo. I was gonna send you one if you didn't.
That's not one of the
Yes.
ones we think didn't get enough attention. We just
No,
like
this-
having that on the
This
desk.
is new.
Oh, yeah,
this
that's
is
great,
too
yeah.
new to fit. We're at a desk and we aren't at desks very often, so it's I figured I'd show the Ocaso Duo desk knife. It's pretty fun. It's neat to just have it sitting on the desk and it's a fun company.
Well, shoot, if that one's too new to fit, I don't know about the one I picked. But
Whatever.
anyways, I'll show it. It is Big Shocker Vosteed. I was going to show one that they just released, but the
Oh,
Racoon Cub. It is an absolutely great knife, and I don't think that the buzz around this was as good as it should have been. Now, I'm not as
do you have
plugged
a
in.
regular raccoon there? I was curious the size different.
I do right over there. Let me grab it. Okay. Well, I can restart that, and we can edit it to make it look like nothing ever happened. Do.
We're not editing any of this.
We're
Oh,
not
no.
editing the dog.
So I
part
just
for
keep
sure.
saying this, and nothing's getting
And
done.
all of this.
All right, so the one I'll show is the Vosteed Mini Racoon Cub.
Yeah.
The dog's back under the table. There we go. So the Cub it's a great size knife. If you like the Baby Banter or the Mica, this was my pitch for it at Blade Show. The CJRB Mica or the Baby Banter. I'm not even going to call it a competitor because if you're like me, you're going to buy all of them. And so it's one of those where it's around that size point, around that same price point, around the same style, 14C28N. It does add a front flipper, which is really nice. So you can pop that thing loose. And Ben was asking for a size comparison. So here we are.
Wow, that's
okay.
way smaller than I
that's
thought it
super
was.
small.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
whoa.
you're looking at like Baby Banter
Yeah.
size.
So
That
what,
is.
is that blade like? What, 2.5 inches?
It doesn't even. I think the Raccoon blade's around 3 inches, so you might be talking more like 2.
Okay, so that could be
Very small.
straight 2. Wow.
Man.
So
I'd heard that was coming, but I didn't realize the size difference was that great.
here's the crispy donut community
That's-
version.
Oh yeah.
Shiny.
So I like that a lot. And then they did release. They're just killing it with small knives. The mini psyop's another one, and I don't have it in
Oh,
here
they
with
came out with
me.
a
That's
mini.
another
I
one.
don't buy a lot of or use a lot of small knives because I'm too poor to
I
overcompensate
like
with a
that.
sports car, so I overcompensate
Wait.
with big knives.
That's the
There
mini
you go.
psyop, not the Acorn.
No, this
Yeah.
is the mini Acorn. The mini
Oh,
psyop I
okay,
have
okay.
outside, and it's one of
Oh,
the
okay,
best
okay,
looking
good.
knives that I have seen come out of a company in forever. It's a
Yeah.
Jeff from Tough Knives, his design, but it's beautiful. But this is the mini Acorn. I wish I would have had the mini psyop in here to show
We
off.
just rediscovered the Vosteed. What was the one we were playing with the other day
Oh,
that was awesome?
the Corsair.
Yeah, the Corsair.
Yeah, I've
Oh
been.
heck yeah!
They
I've
sent
been
this to us a
packing
while
this one.
ago, and we finally are
Mhm.
getting around to.
I was actually playing in the yard with it today. There, I didn't. I mostly got it.
But
cleaned
yeah,
off,
we've
I
been.
think, but-
That I forgot how cool that thing was.
That one
Yeah,
is
I've
one
really been
that
digging
would
this.
really be good for that list of knives that
Yeah,
kind of
you're
went
right.
under
The
the radar.
Corsair,
Yeah.
it was a time. You know what? The
we'll go ahead and say
Vosteed
it's
was
on the
just
list.
pumping out knives so fast. I was kind of like, whoa, slow down and like take a
Yeah.
breath so we can, because it was too hard. We couldn't keep up with them to create content. And I know we weren't the only ones feeling that way. But now
I
they're,
didn't find that.
yeah, there you go, the Duo.
Nah.
Oh, you've got a different one than us, I think.
Oh, do you
Yeah.
have?
Yeah,
oh,
you-
you have the Warncliffe.
Yeah, you've got the Warncliffe. We've got the.
Oh
Drop
shoot!
Point.
Why didn't I get the drop point? I'm a drop point man.
Did you get it at SHOT Show? Or at
I get it at
Blade
Blade Show.
Blade
Yeah.
Show, yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that would be my knife. Maybe the mini
Okay.
psyop, but
I'll see your little knife with one of our little knives. Spent probably about 3 months packing around the Fast Eddie by Gear for Life, which is the first design they've put out. And I like it quite a bit. It kind of felt like a Civivi Elementum.
What's the
alternative? Oh yeah, I guess I could go through the specs. This one is G10 10CR
10CR.
VR. Yeah, I have the specs here. I guess I could just read from
You can
that.
bring it up on our site too.
oh, while you're looking at that,
15
go ahead.
MOV steel with G10 scales.
Okay.
So I actually have that and the titanium version. They sent those out
Yeah.
for review,
We
and
got
So
those.
this one right here.
they are fantastic. Man, mine had a little bit of a crappy action on both of them, and I was like, oh no. Well, I went and visited their booth at the Blade Show.
Oh, they were a
handled it.
Blade Show.
Yes, they were over there. They were mixed
Okay.
in with like Phoenix and a bunch of different guys, but I went over there and I think it was Phoenix. Anyways, played with it. Great action. My buddy Chad Landman, he has one, loved it, or had one, loved it. So I think it's just the review models that they sent me were pretty bad. So I need to
Probably.
pump out a video. or
We've
two
had
on
that happen a lot where we get an early model and then they work out some bugs. Not with that company, but with a lot of companies.
Mhm.
And we had a kitchen knife company one time, and it's a big kitchen knife company, and we reviewed it and kind of wasn't a kind review. And I mean, they sent us this knife, and I take it out of the package, and it's like the blade's already got water spots all over it, you know. And then it was dull, and I was like, this has obviously
Nice.
been a return. This was something that someone returned, and then the marketing director sent it to us. And yeah, it was. We really kind of panned the knife, and then because we had it early, and then Reddit. I felt bad, but then Reddit just destroyed it.
Yeah.
Everyone on Reddit just
no.
destroyed it too, so then I didn't feel as bad.
The Reddit kitchen knife community
They're
loves
brutal.
to rag on that knife.
They're so brutal.
Any Reddit
Uh,
community.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, they sent it to us like in pretty bad shape, and so we actually ended up ordering a brand new one, and it was fine. When I got that, it was
Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
It still sucked as a knife.
yeah, it was still a terrible knife.
It was just
yeah.
But it was a
slightly
good
better
quality,
QC.
terrible knife.
You know, it was a decent. We did a video where we took kitchen chef knives and used them as bushcraft knives
yeah.
to see
Yeah.
which one would do better, and that one did really well. So it was terrible in the kitchen, but it was a decent knife. It wasn't as good as the cheap ass Walmart Pioneer Woman.
Pioneer
chef
Woman,
knife.
dude.
Yeah.
So apparently that was
Holy
a
cow.
complete thing.
Yeah,
I heard about
that's
this.
a
I think.
thing.
Yeah, like Dave Canterbury, I think it was. I want to
Yeah.
say went to
With
Walmart
the
and bought some or
Pathfinder
something,
Society or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
and
Oh, it was-
beat the
yeah,
crap
yeah.
out of it and loved it.
I mean, it
That's-
threw spark. We started a
Mm-hmm.
fire with it. We batoned with it. Like we.
Yeah, it's a champ. I want to get a leather sheath
Yeah.
made for it. I'll hike with that.
That,
My mom
it's
used
got
to
this
watch-
like super flowery handle, like
My
but
mom
it's
used to
tough
watch
as
her
nails.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh, really?
she had the kitchen knives too. Yeah, she had.
Oh, it's a
the knives. I
person.
should've
There's a
stolen-
person There's a Pioneer Woman.
Yeah, she
Oh,
has
I
a
didn't
cooking
know.
show. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, if you like, okay, no, I take it back. It's kind of entertaining, but her personality's a little. She's very Midwestern. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
So
right.
anyway.
He's just pissed off the 5 people that are left watching this.
It's okay. They're Midwesterners. Who cares? What are they going to do? Walk 5 million miles to get to me?
Yeah, we're on opposite coasts, so.
What are you going to do?
Then
Hike?
the other knife that we brought, which we actually don't have with us because we sent it to the. We sent the knife to the writer, to David Higginbotham, who wrote the article. But we wanted to talk about the CRKT Taco Viper.
Yeah,
which we wrote a review on. Like that's what it's called, the Taco Viper. Yeah.
That's pretty sick. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, this is it right there.
You seen that show up for you?
And so it was. Bring up the.
Yeah, I can see that.
The designer is
Antonio Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's right. And I really want to see more designs from him. This is one of my favorite knives from CRKT ever. And in spite of the fact that it is assisted opening, which I generally hate, but this knife,
well, so a lot of the specs don't make a good argument for it because it's like 1.411 steel, it's serrated, assisted open, it's kind of funky, but the thing that's cool about it, there it is in a pocket, is it comes in this sheath here, and I don't think we have a picture of like the lanyard thing it comes with. But the designer, Antonio Rodriguez, was in the 82nd Airborne. And so he wanted to make a knife that he could, people could jump out of airplanes with.
Yeah.
And use to cut rope and that kind of thing. So that's what the VEF serrations are all about. That's kind of what the elongated handle is for. And it comes with this, there's the champ. But it comes with a thing, sort of like cord you can wrap around your wrist. We're never going to get anything done now. This is
going to be the thumbnail. This is going to be the thumbnail for the video.
Everybody, look right here. Anyway,